Rise and shine, porcupines. You know what time it is. It's algebra without time. What else? So today we're taking a look at chapter 5, unit 4. So after watching this video, students will be able to graph polynomial functions and find the relative maximum and minimum. The concept is polynomial functions and the skill is graphing. So I know you're excited as I am. Why don't we get started? Okay, so what they want us to do here on number 1 is they want us to use a table of values to graph the function and then find the zeros and the relative maximum and minimum. So, all you can do when you get something like this is just kind of plug inside. We're gonna have to put -2 in for x. We're gonna have to do the math. Then we're gonna have to put -1 in for x and do the math, and there's really no way around it, okay? Now what you don't want to do is make a mistake with your signs and because this is simple math. Sometimes we have a tendency to be, not so self-conscious about it. And let's make sure we don't make any mistakes, and then we can get through this. Okay, so here we go. Now, take a look at my work right there. Take a look at -2 to the third minus 3 times -2 squared plus 1. Basic stuff. Let's not make any mistakes. When we run through all that, our first y coordinate is -19. So our first point is -2, -19. Then we're going to put -1 in, and we get -3. Putting 0 in, well, that's pretty straightforward. We get 1. Then we're going to run 1 through it, and 1 to the third power is 1 minus 3 plus 1, that should be -2, right? If I did it correct, let's see if I did it right. Oh, I did it right. Hey, you're not going to find me making any mistakes. All right, go back, we'll put number 2 in there, and we got 2 squared minus 3 times 2 squared plus 1. So 2 cubed is 8, right? 2 squared is 4 times 3 is -12 plus 1. I got 9 minus 12, that gives me 3. Yep, -3, there it is. All right, so we got to put 3 in there now. I know this is kind of a pain, but it's the way they want us to do it. So 3 cubed, 27. -3 times 3 squared. 3 squared is 9 times 3 is -27, right? So guess what? That equals 0 right up front, and you get 1 left over. All right, so the last one we're going to do is put 4 in there. We got 4 cubed. You guys should know your exponents, at least up to the cubes. 4 cubed obviously is 64, 4 squared is 16, times -3 is -48, plus 1, and when it's all said and done, I think the answer should be 17, and it is. Okay, so now we're going to plot these points. Okay, so let's plot them. We're going to plot -2, -19, -1, -3, and then we're going to connect all the dots with one line. Okay, there's a nice picture of it, what it looks like right there. All right, so what's it want us to do? Determine the consecutive values of x between which each real zero is located. So all you have to do, where does the line cross over the x-axis? That's where the zeros are located. So we can't be exact, so we're going to say that the first zero lands between -1 and 0. Then it goes up and back down, and it falls in between 0 and 1. And then it goes back up through and crosses over the x-axis between 2 and 3. So that's where the zeros are located. We don't know the exact values, so we're saying in between, right? Now, it says estimate the x-coordinates at which relative maximum and minimum occur. This is really simple. Look where the line goes up and loops up and comes back down. That's always going to be the maximum, okay? The minimum will be where it goes down and comes back up. Okay, so here we go. Number 2. Now, I know that some of you might just think, hey, this is too much work, but it is what it is. If you got to do it, you got to do it, right? This whole thing is about just getting it done, right? You're online here looking at these videos because you know you got to get it done. All right, so here we go. So first one, -3 cubed, -27, minus 3 times -3. Well, that's going to be plus 9, right? Plus 1 is 10, so I see -17 in my future. And am I right? Absolutely right. So the first point is -3, -17. All right, then you're gonna have to put -2 in there and -1 and go through all of it. Now I shortcutted all that because you guys know how to do the math. And so there's our values. And you check my work and see if I'm wrong. Okay, there's the graph. Now, you can tell yourself, where do the zeros locate? Well, the first one is between -2 and 1, right? Then it comes back down and goes between 0 and 1, and back up between 1 and 2. So that's where the real zeros are located. You're giving them in between because we don't know the exact values, obviously. So, -2, right, and 1, 0 and 1, and 1 and 2. And that's where the line crosses the x-axis. Those are where the zeros are, whatever that intersection is. Okay, so now we're looking at the estimate the relative maximum minimum in terms of x. So the maximum is where it goes up and over. Okay, that's at -1, and the minimum is at +1, right? Where it goes down and back up. So that is your maximum and minimum. +1 for the minimum, -1 for the maximum. Okay, number 3, same thing. Okay, we're gonna go through the math, and we're gonna plug all the values in, we're gonna graph it. This is a pretty straightforward concept, right? So here we go, 2x cubed plus 9x squared plus 12x plus 2. We're gonna graph the function by doing the table of values. We're gonna plug -3 in. Okay, there we go. And when we do that, what do we get? Well, we get -3 cubed, right? That is -27 times 2. That's -54. Stay with me now. -3 squared is 9 times 9 is 81. And then 12 times -3 is -36 plus 2. You know, we play a card game. You know, I play against the kids. You know, speed. And when I play that game, it's all addition and subtraction and multiplication. I never lose. I've never lost once. In all the years I've been playing against the kids, I've never lost. All right, here we go. Moving on. So, -3 cubed is -27. Times 2 is -54. -3 squared, that's 81. So what's 81 minus 54? You tell me. 27, see? I told you, I don't ever miss. All right, plus -36 plus 2. And in the end, what are we gonna get? Let's see, I already told you what it was. Okay, are you as quick as I am? I don't think so. Like I said, I've never lost. And there's some kids that are pretty sharp. But I've never lost, I've been doing it for 17 years. If you think you can beat me, you let me know. All right, so -90 plus 72, right? Oh, 83, I'm sorry. And equals -7. So -7 is -3, -7 is our first coordinate. -2, -2, -1, -3, 0, 2, and 125. So let's plot the points. Okay, -3, -7, right? -2, -2. Then we're gonna connect all the dots with one line, right? And then you'll be able to tell where the relative maximum minimum is and where the zeros are in terms of x, okay? So 3b, what are the maximum minimum? There you go. Now, here's number 4 and 5. I have the answers up there, but I'm going to go over, I'm going to slow it down on the maximum and minimum and the zeros. So there's your graph. Where are the zeros? Well, it only intersects one point. That's between -1 and 0. So that's all there is. Now, maximum and minimum, look where it goes up to 2 on the y-axis. It goes back down. That's the maximum. It's at 0 for x. Coming back down and up, the minimum is at +1. All right, let's look at number 5. Okay, so the zeros land between -2 and -1 and +1 and +2. Okay, now there is one maximum but two minimums. So the maximum for x is at 0. The minimums are at -1 and +1. There's two of them. So you have to identify both of them. Okay, so there you go. Now, understand one thing. When it comes to maximum and minimum relative, they said, they're talking about, it's not the maximum or the minimum. It's relative. It's what's on the graph, okay? So let's not get confused there. All right, number 6, there's the answer to number 6. I don't think I need to go through it. And I appreciate you being here, ladies and gentlemen. That's all we have time for. And remember, math, math, math. Get up and do some math.